Hi and welcome back to TTS Burus channel. Today this is me, Ami, with a very special guest with me today, good friend of mine, Adam Zul. So I'm going to introduce you guys a bit about Adam Zul. Adam here is someone that I would say a good friend because of Dota lah basically. So thanks to Dota, betul kita main banyak, tu rapat. Kalau tak without Dota, I would be betul rapat with Adam lah, definitely because of that. So Adam, here's a question to you. Do you watch football?
Occasionally yes.
So then here's a question. Are you watching Euro right now?
I don't watch like full matches. Like sometimes recently lah, I watched with like Ganja and Adi, some of my friends in like a Discord server, and they would just like put the live on and then watch like that. But never really like watch a full match.
Kalau kau
usually I watch highlights lah. Yeah.
So kalau kau tak tengok bola Euro, kau nak tengok apa? Is my question.
Dota, I guess.
Dota, yeah.
Because like okay, we have the Euros and then football. And of course, it's enjoyable. I played a lot of like football like in my high school years, and it's definitely a sport I enjoy. But of course, there's the Euros recently, and then we also have like Dota TI qualifiers.
For you viewers who don't know what TI is, basically TI is, I would say, the World Cup version of Dota 2.
Simply said, it's the World Cup for Dota version, lah.
Yeah, World Cup for Dota. For me, in my eyes, from what I see is that Melo, maybe you is that you are much more interested in this lah. Walaupun I main Dota, I'm not interested in the pro scene except for watching highlights lah. Sebab definitely masa time maktab lu kurang tak ingat lagi masa time TI kau macam tengok apa tu pro ni main, team ni main.
You know fun fact actually, sebelum ni when I started playing Dota, and when at the phase when I was starting to learn Dota lah, because it's a very complex game, and I've had a lot of help from like you especially, you, Melo, Meh, Nepal pun banyak ajar aku lah semua kan. And then and at that point I wasn't particularly into esports, the pro scene of Dota, because I think it's because at that point aku macam tak fully understand like the game conceptually, you know. And then I think like starting 2017 when we were Form 5, that was like I started to take an interest into like the pro scene, because at that point macam of course kita tak main competitively kan, but we all were playing like taking Dota seriously, pushing rank, blah blah blah. And looking at the pro scene, like really tells you a lot lah. You can learn a lot from watching the pros play. And back in Maktab was some of the people, the most influential people yang actually influenced me to take an interest into like this Dota pro scene stuff. Actually Melo dengan Meh lah.
Definitely those two because I remember diorang dua yang macam kau tengok game this
dia macam like tengok these pro players power. And then from them aku pun macam like start tengok pro scene, start to take macam research about these players and their background lah.
One thing, as much as even though aku tak layan apa tu pro scene itself, the thing is I do watch highlight, like maybe in your case kau cakap kan kau tengok highlight bola, aku tengok highlight game. Even though I'm not too invested, but I do watch it, I do analyze it, because what's important atau what I find fun is that when you look at these pro players play, macam kalau dia main this kind of heroes macam Earthshaker, Enigma, they pull off these big moves, big
flashy heroes,
kau macam oh my god, kau macam you get this feeling of kau nak main, kau nak try replicate benda. So kau main Dota. For me, here's the difference bagi aku lah, is what I find is that bila kau tengok pro player buat something in Dota, kau akan macam aku nak try replicate, and kau tak ada feeling that it's impossible to. But when it comes to sports like football, you look like tengok macam Lionel Messi buat something cool. You like macam oh my god, padu siapa dia buat lah, kan. But the thing is there will never come to tak ada macam aku nak try replicate. Maybe ada masa kau kecil, but once you get older you lose that feeling. But for Dota, because it is sport, macam siapa cakap Notil everything is possible in Dota. Big Daddy Notil kan cakap. So even though you're someone new to Dota, even though you're someone yang dalam main yang biasa-biasa, just a casual player in video games, it's not impossible to replicate something that other people. So that's what I find for the beauty of Dota lah. And next time, maybe could you share something, maybe what you find interesting about the Dota pro scene, but much more than sports in general.
I see. Okay, so oh my god, this topic is actually like when it comes to esports, this is actually like one of the big topics lah yang people will always argue. It always goes back and forth, like is esports even a sport, or like playing esports is basically you play games, you don't it's basically just playing game, and people taking it as not serious, are not taking it seriously. And then like
easiest argument would be is always like alah aku pun boleh buat, siapa pun boleh buat.
Exactly. And I think people would be like even I could do that, even I could like play games for 20 hours straight, even I could like play competitively, blah blah blah. But I think the main it all comes down to preferences lah. Actually, like some people they are more how do you say athletic. They like to do sport, like to do strenuous activities, blah blah. Macam but there are some people that don't even do sport much. They don't even exercise much, but instead they spend like hours and hours playing games and blah blah. And of course, I agree to some extent that when some people say that you don't need that much of skill to do this type of stuff in esports and blah blah blah. But I also disagree at one point in which where playing sports and esports, to me at least personally lah, to me both of them are sport, because those two have different skill sets, you know. Because you use your physical strength to like do sports, tak salah you play badminton or basketball or play football, but you need to have those, like, you know, in esports term you call it that hand-eye coordination and all that stuff. You have to your fast reflexes, your micro ability and stuff like that. And back to the point where you said that when people watch football, maybe as a kid or maybe even bila diorang dah besar pun, maybe they feel like, oh, bapak style saya Messi ni, bapak style gila babi Ronaldo ni, cakap aku nak try buat. And then when they do sport, they actually try to like execute, they try to do what they see what the pros do. And it's also similar to when you play Dota lah. When you look at the pro scene, you see these guys amazing plays, like 10,000 IQ plays, and Dota players basically want to reenact, try to redo it in their pubs or even in their ranked games. Yeah, but simply said, dua-dua ni macam lebih kurang sama je. Like I said earlier, it always comes down to preferences, like the things that you like more lah. Like if you do, okay, for me I like both, but you could say back in high school I would say I'm more to bola, to football lah, because like you can petang selalu main tengok video macam oh shit nak buat petang. And then tapi of course time kat high school aku tak layan pro scene sangat, but now compared to now macam aku dah kurang sikit main bola, and banyak tengok pro scene kan, tengok pro players main. And then like, and also the same thing, I try to like redo the skills, try to implement their play style, their small micro plays into my gameplay, and try to incorporate it into my games lah. But the similarity is that hard work. You need to like, you see that thing and you like to okay shit, I need to do it, and you want it so bad, you want to do it, you want to recreate it in your games, be it football, be it Dota. You do your best lah. Senang cerita, macam you put in the hard work, you put in the dedication, like to reenact, and then bila dah buat, and especially with your friends, and then everyone's like, oh style sia betul tu. And then macam Dota aku macam buat rimbat black hole kalau main Rubik, then Rubik god blah blah. Ni kalau main bola, and then style saya bapak Messi saya aku. Similar, it's basically just the same thing, just that both esports and sports or football in general, they have their own skill set lah.
Yeah, so basically what your main point is, one is physical, more towards physical, the other is towards mental lah. You say mental. Here's another one point lah I want to say that to why I feel much more towards esports. Maybe one thing is maybe because I'm not very athletic, but toxicity in esports is very welcome actually. Maybe kalau if you tengok MMA mixed martial arts, there is that kind, but toxicity in esports in general is much more welcome. It's rather celebrated, and it rarely does it become serious. I won't deny that there are some cases that it becomes serious, but rarely does it become serious. So if I'm aku kasih contoh lah kan, is that let's say if one of your favourite team dalam football kalah, then contoh ada case macam Kelantan lawan Selangor, lepas tu Kelantan
then the hooliganism, right? Like the people
gaduh semua sampai rioting semua. From my perspective, it's very stupid lah. It's very stupid. Sebab at the end of the day, it's sports, right? There is always a winner and a loser. So in the esports in general, it's rather celebrated in a sense that contoh macam kalau kau dapat seorang, kalau if you someone, if you win the game, you have this BM, you bad manners, where contoh kalau dalam kau tip orang tu, kalau dalam FPS kau teabag orang tu. So it's rather celebrated, like macam orang tu buat toxicity, but never does it like after the game. It's always stays in the game. Tak ada macam the next day kau dengar this guy and this guy gaduh, atau this fan dengan this fan sampai gaduh. Like I said, rarely does it happen. I do acknowledge that sometimes it happens, but rarely does it happen, and rather we celebrate that kind of behavior. Those kind of behaviors is, I think, what I find it's the I would say the charm of esports lah.
I see. I completely understand that. Like I said earlier, it's basically the same stuff. Like you have like the sports itself, and then you have like the fan base. The only thing that differentiates between the two is that I would say like for say we're talking about football lah, the toxicity I would say both in games, both in the sports itself and the fan base, it's kind of more physical and disconnected. Okay, say talk into esports, it's a bit more less physical, and I think it's not physical at all. I guess maybe if it reached to some point, maybe like to a point where you dog someone or something, or send santau to say if you DDoS someone or some shit, maybe that would lead to like physical injuries and stuff lah. But say it all connected, like you can talk shit, you can BM everywhere on the internet. That sense of connectivity compared to back to the sports one, it disconnected because like when the fans people tend to like beat the shit out of each other after the match, right? It's somehow more severe compared to esports lah. But when you talk about esports, I think both the sport and the fan base itself, it's more like concentrated. I think like it exists in the game itself, like you, and of course like the pro players in the pro scene, they tend to like try to put up a good image like for the brands, for the teams, right? You don't have like random pro players going like F your mother in the old chat, something like but those type of stuff you can always see it in like in random pubs or in random games. Actually, and in any game, like you put LOL or CSGO or anything, there are always like some random trash talker who always talk shit on you lah. But compared to like back to sports, when you have like casual games or play friendly matches, you don't have those kind of stuff. Where maybe you might have that one asshole kind of friend that always talk shit like, but it's rare lah compared to Dota, in which like you can find every 2 games.
Someone is stating
bad omen for your mother. If we were talking about the benefits, of course the esports would have less severity, I would say, but as for mental health, it will have a long term effect.
Huge long term.
I
understand.
So
you just hear it, folks. In actual reality, esport, both of it has its pros and cons, and of course I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate, as you say.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure. One more thing.
So some of my friends that might be watching this would say I would be a fucking hypocrite.
Definitely. Cheers, man.
So I'm just here to clarify that you guys aren't wrong. Okay. So
but I think that's the best thing about esports. At the end of the day, it stays in the game. It's
always in the game. Aside from here,
because I won't deny, I too have fucked someone's mother.
All the players should have.
All the players.
At some point,
they have fucked each other's mom. Okay. So Adam, is there any platform that you want to promote? Like maybe your Twitch, maybe?
I guess you could follow me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/notadam lah.
There will be a link, so definitely tengoklah apa tu cucu.
Thanks for the shout out. You guys who are viewing this, make sure to subscribe to TTS Brosu. Great content, 100%.
Right,
should subscribe.
More content will come.
More to come.
More to come. So right, thank you for joining me today, Dam. So see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.
Alright, so